Hey guys, I have a theory for everyone today that I posted on Reddit a few days ago, and the theory is that Luffy isn't at full power yet, and for him to harness the full power of Nika, he would have to absorb the sunlight. Hit that like and subscribe button if you want to hear more content like this, and let's just dive into my tinfoil hat theory. So let's begin with chapter 1045. In that chapter, we get Yamato and Momo talking about how Luffy's hair and clothes are all white, and even Kaido mentions it in the chapter as well that he's confused of what this pure white transformation is because it reminds him of a zone, but Luffy's awakening is acting a lot like a paramecia at the same time. So the first thing that came to my mind when they said he was all white was Horny Jones and the Fishman pirates in Fishman Island, and then also Sulong also reminded me of this. And I had like a side theory that it doesn't really tie into this one, but I'll just mention it because I brought it up in my Reddit post. I have a theory that, and bear with me, this is a little tinfoilish. I have a theory that the pills, the steroid pills that Horty was taking, was manufactured to replicate the power of the Sulong, the power of the sun. Because I know Sulong transformation is staring at the moonlight, staring at a full moon, but we all know that moonlight is just the sun reflecting off the moon. And maybe the Sulong transformation can't actually manifest from the sun. They don't have that ability, but they can tap into a piece of it by looking at the sun. I mean, sorry, by looking at the moon. They can tap into a piece of it by looking at the moon. So I had this idea that what if the steroid pills were just trying to replicate that power, and that's what it is. And since we know that minks that don't have any kind of formal training will lose their mind and just die from exhaustion when they go into Sulong without any knowledge of how to control it. Which we see with Horty Jones. The more pills he takes, the crazier and more aggressive he gets throughout the arc. And one thing that also reminded me about this, not the Sulong, but the Horty Jones transformation and Luffy's current transformation is in the chapter we see Luffy power down and he looks like a shriveled up old man raisin. And the first thing that it reminded me of was the Horty Joe pirates at the end of the Fishman Island arc when they were in jail. They got really old, shriveled up real fast. So that made me think these powers all clearly tie in together. And I think what makes Luffy different from Sulong and the steroid pills is that Luffy actually has the power of the sun. He actually can harness the power of the sun. And one thing I want to bring up was back in chapter 1028, everyone loves to bring up the color spread and how that foreshadows Luffy's Gear 5 transformation. But one thing that's different from Gear 5 and that color spread is Luffy's hair and fists are covered in orange flames. Now, we know the sun in our real world is white, but because of our atmosphere and everything, we see it as orange, yellow, whatever. And every time it's always depicted as an orange and yellow color, of course, right? So here's where we get a little tin polish. What if Luffy isn't at full power? What if when the dawn rises, when the sun rises, Luffy absorbs the sunlight and harnesses its power? I don't remember what exact episode this is in the anime, but at the beginning of the raid in Onigashima, the anime staff decided when Luffy was going for a Red Hawk to put the sun behind him. What if that wasn't just to enhance the moment and articulate maybe this guy's you know hot like the sun or whatever, or to enhance the moment in any type of way, but to foreshadow that Luffy will be able to harness the power of the sun itself. And a side note, before I continue on here, Blackbeard has two devil fruits, a Paramecia and a Logia. People theorize that he's going to get a third one, which would be a Zone. What if Luffy's devil fruit has the property of all three? Luffy's devil fruit right now, stated by Kaido, is has the awakening of a paramecia, but he's transformed like a zone. He's already showing two types of fruits. What if when the sun rises, Luffy absorbs the power of the sun? The reason I think this isn't Luffy's final form is just that it's just so strange to me that Luffy is all white. Like this doesn't feel like, I don't want to say Super Saiyan, that like Super Saiyan esque transformation, but I feel like it's incomplete. I feel like Luffy isn't where he needs to be just quite yet. Because once again, he still thinks he has the rubber fruit. He's still saying Gomu Gomu no before every single attack. So it wouldn't be surprising that this is just the bare minimum of what Luffy can actually do right now. In chapter 1045, when Luffy's powering down slash powering up, we see the transformation. It's kind of like flowing through him, like he's just turning white. Like it's kind of like he's being painted in a way. And that made me think, what if when Luffy's white body comes in contact with the sun, he becomes full of red, or he flows like with multiple colors, like a rainbow? I don't really think that one, because that ties in more into like the white light is just more of all the colors combined into one. But what if Luffy's white body, white hair, when it comes in contact with the sun, becomes a blazing red? What if he becomes a blazing hot red? His hair becomes red. His fists are now coated in fire. He can start doing attacks, everything with fire. Because we've seen in chapter 1045, when Luffy gets hit with a Boro Blast, he runs back to Onigashima in the air, but he leaves a trail of fire. I think I think Oda is leaving hints, tips and hints that this is what where Luffy could take it to the next level. I also want to point out in chapter, I think it was, what chapter was it? I want to say 1009, 1008. I'll leave it up on the screen when I'm editing this. But back when Luffy was first fighting Kaido on the rooftop with the rest of the warlords, or not warlords, sorry, with the rest of the worst generation, he says, "Did you just dodge that one, Kaido, because it was going to hurt?" I think that line specifically is Oda hinting Kaido's weakness. I think Kaido is most vulnerable to fire. I think that's the next level Luffy needs to take it up to actually defeat Kaido. Just think about it. In Ace's flashback with Yamato, he destroys the dragon statue with his fire. He says, "I'm going to defeat Kaido." And we all know how inherited will is a big factor in One Piece, and I wouldn't be surprised if Luffy needs a fire attack for the final blow to take out Kaido. What'll also be funny about fire being able to take out Kaido is kind of be a parallel to Oden, because Oden was always like, Oden was meant to be boiled, and that's how he went out. So I thought what would be funny is like fish was meant to be fried, since Kaido is a koi double fruit user, or the koi or fish user that is just mythical Zoan, or mythical of the koi that climbs up the waterfall and becomes a dragon, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if Oden was meant to be boiled, fish was meant to be fried, and Kaido is taken out by fire attacks. A point I want to bring up was in the thread of my theory, a user by the name Stormzy underscore 23 brought up a good point. I'll have his comment on the screen. But the thing that really stands out is he brings up Ennis Lobby always being day 24/7 365. And I never thought about that, but what if that's the power of Nika? What if that's the power of the sun? Because we see with Aokiji and Sakazuki, when they fought on Punk Hazard, they left it permanently ice, permanently fire, magma, constantly erupting volcanoes, all that. They left it permanently like that. Ennis Lobby is another place we know is permanently stuck in a weather condition of just the sun. Can't rain, can't get cloudy, can't anything. And we know Luffy time and time again has been symbolized as the sun. We see this in Skypiea, where he's swinging the giant metal or giant golden ball on his arm, and he says, "Let the sun shine," before he takes out Eno. He's always being portrayed as the sun, as the sun god, the liberator, the guy who brings the light. A lot of people have speculated that Long Ring Longland and Subodi Archipelago are the effects of the awakening of Luffy's Gomu Gomu, which I agree. I still think those still could be Joy Boy's doing. I also like to think that Joy Boy's the reason that there's a an amusement park on Subodi. He built it for the Mermaid Princess, but that's a different theory. That's a different idea. But we already got confirmation from Kaido that Luffy's Devil Fruit is displaying zone and paramecia properties. So what if it also displays a Logia property, the sun, fire? He can manipulate fire in any way, conjure fire in any way he wants to. I wouldn't be surprised if that's it. I wouldn't be surprised if Long Ring Longman, Subodi Archipelago, and its lobby, all three of those places are the effects of Joy Boy, Sun God Nika, the Gomu Gomu fruit, all being used in those different areas. Because while I do like the white transformation, I think I think there could be more. I think this isn't where Luffy caps off. Because one, it's a shonen series. There's no way Luffy is already at his peak. Kaido may be the strongest creature, but we still have to deal with a character that has multiple devil fruits. We still have to deal with a character that's been running the world for who knows how long, who knows how many years, centuries. Im Sama has been running the show, right? We got Sakazuki to deal with, so there's no way that this is Luffy's peak. There's no way Gear 5 is where it ends. This could be what we could get next is Gear 5 Sun God mode. We could get Gear 6, which I like the idea that Gear 5 was the last one, but I wouldn't mind a Gear 6 where it's just Luffy's full zone transformation, where he harnesses the power of the sun, his hair ignites in a blazing red, he's able to coat his arms with fire, and he's able to attack Kaido and finish the blow. Because before Luffy even got Conqueror's Advanced Conqueror's Hockey, Kaido was dodging his attacks with just Ryo infused fire. I don't think it's the Ryu that was hurting Kaido. I think it's the fire. I think with Yamato's flashback of Ace destroying the statue with fire, Luffy hitting Kaido with Red Hawk and it hurting him. I think these are all hints that what Kaido is most vulnerable to is fire attacks. And I think the best way to display that is when the dawn rises, when the dawn comes, Luffy absorbs the fire, absorbs the sunlight, and attacks Kaido with one big fire fist and ends it. But that's just my idea. My theory isn't really thought out too well. Like, isn't conclusive. Like, I still need more information. I still need to go back and find tips and pieces, but these are just my thoughts that I was thinking about after chapter 10,000 and or not 10,000, chapter 1045. I think this isn't the end for Luffy in the sense of powering up. I don't think his all white transformation is the full power. I think that is the power of just the moonlight. I think that's what it is. I think Luffy has just absorbed the power of the moonlight, but not gotten the full power of the sun. Once the sun rises, once the dawn comes, Joy Boy will fully return in his full glory, and we'll see Kaido's defeat. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. This was just I felt kind of all over the place, but this was just my collective thoughts of what I think the next level for Gear 5 is.